we are going to be talking about retelling. Have you guys ever talked about retelling before? Like retelling a story? Yeah? A couple of you have? Okay, so we're going to talk about that today. So, have any of you ever heard of a retelling hand? No? Have you heard of that? Where you retell a story using your hand? No? Okay, so we are going to talk about the retelling hand. This is what mine looks like. I traced my hand so that you guys could see it.
Can we make one? Why are you looking?
Yep. In just a little bit, we're going to make one, okay? So this is our retelling hand, but before we use it, I'm going to tell you what goes on it, okay? So that we know, just to kind of refresh our memories. Have any of you ever had to retell someone a story?
Yep.
You have before? Have you done it in 3rd grade? Do you remember talking about retelling in 3rd grade at all? No? So this is new to some people?
Very beginning of the year.
Oh, the very beginning.
In a long time ago.
Okay, so we're going to put this here. So, the first thing that we think about when we retell a story about something is where our story's happening. Does anyone know what that's called? Where our story takes place? Xavier, do you know what that's called?
Characters and settings.
The setting, right? So, where a story takes place is called the setting. I'm going to borrow a marker from here real quick. Maybe. No, you're fine. I was like, I don't want to go through this. Okay, so our first finger is going to be our setting, right? So what would be a setting? Let's think of a story that we all might know. Like do what?
Outside and inside.
Yeah, outside or inside. If a story takes place outside or inside. Like I was thinking the 3 Little Pigs. Does the 3 Little Pigs take place inside or outside?
Inside. And outside.
Outside.
No.
The majority of it takes place outside. Sometimes they go in a house.
Outside.
Yeah, sometimes they go in a house, but the majority of it takes place outside. So for our thumb, right here, that's the first thing we talk about in our retelling, is the setting.
So we put setting on our hand.
Yep, so we're gonna put our setting details on our hand there. Okay, so on our second finger, the next thing that we talk about are the people in the story. What is that called? What are the people in the story called? Does anyone have an idea what we call those people?
Characters.
Characters. Good job. So in the 3 Little Pigs, who are the characters?
I think it's the 3 Little Pigs and then the big bad wolf.
Good job.
Oh, you're gonna put car. Oh, yeah, in the 3 Little Pigs. I
Let's
thought
spell
you were
that
gonna
wrong.
put cars for sure.
Okay. Then sometimes in a story, there seems to be something that happens. It's our problem,
Yep.
right?
It's called
The problem. So what was the problem in the 3 Little Pigs?
on the
Does anyone know? Christian, have you read the 3 Little Pigs before? Have you heard that story? Yeah. Do you know what the problem was in the 3 Little Pigs? The wolf was trying to get to him, wasn't he?
yeah.
That's right.
He gobbled all of us.
Oh, he tried to, didn't he?
Yeah, but he gobbled only 2 pigs up. But sometimes in the story, it's when those 2 good the brother heads to the stick house. The one that was in the brother that was in the straw house heads to the stick house.
Yep.
And then when the stick house gets full down, the 2 brothers head to the brick house.
They keep going from house to house, don't they?
Yeah.
We read this other one. It was the trick that was the pigs, and it was part of the wolf.
That's a good one. I like that one.
And he said how he was just trying to grab some sugar, and then he had a toy and he sneezed, and I read that one.
It was from a different perspective, wasn't it? It wasn't
Yeah.
from the perspective of the 3 Little Pigs.
And then after the house blew down, every house blew down except the brick house.
Uh-huh.
He keep the pigs because he wouldn't want.
Ew, you pigs.
He
Yes.
didn't want some lions there, and he liked pigs because he said that he didn't want to make stay there, so he ate them instead.
So you guys are doing an awesome job of our next one. Our next finger, which will be this one, our ring finger, is the events of the story. Does anyone know what these letters might mean for events? The B, the M, and the E? Does anyone know what that might mean?
Bob, Mom,
Oh, let's listen to what Gabriel said. Gabriel, what did you say?
Beginning, middle, and end.
Beginning, middle, and end. And that's right. And you guys just did a great job of that. Both Xavier and Gabriel told me what happened in the beginning of the Three Little Pigs, the middle of the Three Little Pigs, and the end of the Three Little Pigs. And they're different stories, right? So this finger right here, we would write events, because that's where we try to identify the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. And then what do you think the last finger is? What do you think this one is?
The solution.
The solution.
Thumbs up if you think it's solution. What's a solution? That's a big word. What's a solution, Christian?
When you solve the problem.
When you solve the problem, right? So what was, think real quick, if you know the story of the Three Little Pigs, the one that Xavier was talking about, what was the solution of that story? How did the pigs solve their problem?
By I know.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
By living in the house with living in the brick house because they couldn't blow down.
That's right. They built a really strong house made out of bricks so that he couldn't blow it down, right? That was their solution. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up here and I'm going to read you guys. I tried to find kind of a short story so we wouldn't take too long. But I am going to read a story to you guys, and I want you to listen, and I want you to think about each one of these. I want you to think about the setting where it takes place, who the characters are, what the problem is, what the events are, so what the beginning, the middle, and the end is, and then what the solution to the story is, okay? So, right off the bat, if I look at the cover of my story, I might have a clue as to what my setting is. Right? If I bring it around and look.
The caterpillar fight, so it's probably underground.
Might be underground, but what do I see? I see some green.
Oh, it could be like on a stem.
On a stem or on a plant or something like that? Okay, so this book is called The Caterpillar Fight. Okay? So it says, when the caterpillars went to their caterpillar beds, they all had caterpillars for their caterpillar heads. One naughty caterpillar in the middle of the night woke the other caterpillars for a caterpillar fight. A caterpillar fight, sorry. Two little caterpillars gave caterpillar blows to another caterpillar on her caterpillar nose. Are you thinking about what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Who our characters are? And I think maybe our problem and our events are getting ready to come up here. The tallest caterpillar from her caterpillar height brought down the caterpillar with her caterpillar might. The other caterpillars hiding down below watched the caterpillar feathers fall like caterpillar snow. Caterpillar snow. It's hard to say those two words interchangeably. There were caterpillar thumps and caterpillar whacks on caterpillar tummies and caterpillar backs. The caterpillar laughter and the caterpillar din went on and on and on until Big Caterpillar came in. Stop all this silly nonsense. I can hardly hear my ears. This caterpillar laughing will end in caterpillar tears. Now when the caterpillars go to their caterpillar beds, there's just one long caterpillar for all those caterpillar heads. So that's the end. Did everybody see? I'm going to walk that around so you can see. Do you see what she did at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see what she did? Okay, we're gonna talk about it in a minute. Okay, so what were, you wanna see? She fixed them so they couldn't get any more fights, huh?
It's like so.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about this one. I have a blank one here.
Wait, are we gonna make a hand?
Yep. In just a minute. Okay, so if we retell our stories, I'm gonna hang this one up here so we can look at it. If we retell our story for the caterpillars, what was our setting? Xavier?
Like a plant.
A plant?
Or a leaf.
Or a leaf? Does everyone agree with that? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Think it was a plant or some kind of leaf? Okay. So we're gonna write plant or leaf. Okay. Who are our characters? Diane, or not Diana. Olivia, do you remember who the characters were? No? What about if we look back at the book? There's a whole bunch of them. Who are our characters? What do we have on every page? What are these little things called? Caterpillars. Do we have just a bunch of baby caterpillars?
No.
What else do we have?
A big one.
One big one, right? So we'll put little and big caterpillars. And we'll just put one big one. All right. What was the problem in the story? This one might be kind of tricky. Do you have an idea, Gabriel, what the problem of the story was? They had a fight. What were they supposed to be doing?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. So the problem was, instead of sleeping, what did they want to do instead?
Pillow fight.
Pillow fight. That's a good job. What would be more fun, going to bed or having a pillow fight?
Going to bed.
Going to bed? That's right. That's how I feel too. Sometimes I just want to crawl into bed. Okay, so instead of, we'll say, instead of bed, they wanted to have a pillow fight. Okay, so I need 3 people to raise their hand for me that want to tell me about the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story. So I want you to think for a minute.
You didn't need 2 people for 2 hands.
Huh? Oh, okay. So, Gabriel, what happened at the beginning of the story? The very beginning.
They tried going to sleep.
They tried going to sleep, right? That's good. That's perfect. They were getting ready to go to bed, right? What happened next? Elliot, what's our middle?
In the middle of the story, instead of the caterpillars going to sleep, they had a pillow fight.
They had a pillow fight, right? Okay, what happened at the end of the story?
The big caterpillar it came in and he said to stop all that nonsense, and then it made a big leaf for the whole caterpillars.
That's right.
Ow, ow.
So, you okay?
Oh.
Okay. So at the beginning of the story, Gabriel said they were supposed to be going to bed, right? They were getting ready for bed. So our beginning of the story is they were supposed to be going to bed. In the middle of the story, they had a pillow fight, right?
Yeah.
And the end of the story, the big caterpillar came in and said, "Stop fighting," right? What was our solution? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me what the solution to the story was? How did the story end? Sewing all the pillows together? Yeah, did everybody see that picture? How is that the solution? How could that stop them from pillow fighting?
Because they can't unrip them apart.
That's right. It'd be really hard to have a pillow fight with all of your pillows sewn together, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you should. It would just be like one caterpillar just smacking.
And that would probably hurt to get hit with a huge pillow, right?
No, it won't.
You don't think? Oh, I don't know. I think it might hurt to get whacked. You do? Yeah, sometimes you see those big, long, body pillows. I bet that's kind of what it was like, because caterpillars aren't very big.
I have instead of the body pillows, I have
Let's see about
stuffed animal pillows.
Is that a blanket?
You have what?
Stuffed animal
Oh, stuffed animal pillows?
I have a dog and
Okay, so what should I put for our solution?
They sewed all the pillows together.
Sew pillows together. Go have a seat, please, Olivia. Thank you for listening.
I have to keep this.
Okay, and then you know what? I forgot a part of our main one up here. Does anyone know what the heart might be in the middle of the hand?
No.
I'll give you a hint. The heart in the middle of the hand is what the author is trying to tell us. It's called a central message. And it's kind of the idea that they're trying to get across to us, or sometimes it's a lesson they're trying to teach us. So if we thought about our story about the caterpillars, what do you think our central message might be?
not to have fun at night.
Not to have fun at night?
I have fun at night.
No, sometimes it's okay to have fun at night.
I don't sleep.
I want you to turn and talk to your table partner about what you think the central message might be, or turn and talk to people at your table.
Not to wake up
Talk to each other.
Not to wake up in the middle of the night and wake up all the other cats, wake up all of the other people and other fellow cats.
What do you think this is?
And they don't tell me that.
Oh, goodness. Okay, does anyone have any idea of what the central message is? Gabe? I'm gonna call him Gabe, he raised his hand.
Go to super and don't have a food fight around the place.
I do.
That's, yeah,
Before you go to
I do.
that's a good central message. Maybe listen to what your mom and dad say too, right? Because the big caterpillar.
You might not want to go to sleep after you don't do it.
That's right. That's a great job with the central message. So today, when you come back to the small groups, or for small groups back here, I'm gonna have you trace your own hand, and I have just little short stories for you to practice with. Okay, so you're gonna read the story. No, we'll do it when we go back there. We're gonna read the story, and you guys are I'm gonna have this paper sitting back there so you can see what it is, and to help remind you. And then we're gonna talk about what you guys think, where the setting is of your story, the character, the problem,
The epic.
the events, and then the solution. Okay? Does that sound right? Perfect. I'm glad you have your own markers. Okay, so we will start the rotation back here.
Are you gonna teach?
Yep, I will.
Wait, are we gonna have like
Rotation.
I think we're gonna have about 20 minutes.
So everybody starts with Lexia and Mrs. G. You can call back the people that you like to.
Perfect.
You should